Hi, Kelly Renee Miller here, and on today's Nerd Bite, the Silmarillion. Yes, as you all, I'm sure, are very much aware of, we are on the heels of the last installment in thus far in Middle Earth, The Hobbit: Battle of the Five Armies, coming to a theater near you on December 17th. I'm so excited. I can't see the trailer without having a physical reaction and shrieking even just a commercial. Like, it's completely involuntary, and my roommate's always like, "Are you excited, Kelly?" Yes. Yes, I am. So excited. And today I follow the Nerdist.com on Facebook, and there was just a little, like, collection of blurbs. One of those was, "Is Peter Jackson getting ready to make the Silmarillion?" So I clicked through, followed the link, and I was rather disappointed because that eye-catching headline comes from a red carpet walk by question of interview with Ian McKellen, who was asked about wrapping up the second trilogy and how he feels about that. Oh, pardon me. And what does he think now that it's all over? And Ian McKellen's response was along the lines of, well, in 2001, he said, Peter said to me, "We've reached the end of the line." And now 13 years later, here we are. And they, pulled that out and extrapolated that into, is he gonna make the Silmarillion? Ooh, there's so much meat to chew on here with that prospect. Peter Jackson making the Silmarillion. First of all, the Silmarillion, as a novel, is vastly, vastly different, not just in story, but in style, than both The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. If you've ever read it, you know what I'm talking about. It is purposefully extremely biblical in its language. There are these and thines and thous, all things like that, and extremely intricate, even more so than The Lord of the Rings in its storytelling. For example, for comparison, in Lord of the Rings, you might have up to a page and a half describing a sword, because J.R.R. Tolkien wanted to make sure you had a very clear image of what that sword was and how important it was in the world and what's going on right now. Anduril specifically has that. Anduril, pardon me, my pronunciation. The Silmarillion also has very intricate descriptions, but you will have... how do I say this? It's very action-packed, but detail-oriented. So there's a whole lot going on, and if you do not pay minute attention to everything, you'll miss there is no throwaway detail. Every detail is extremely essential and intricate to what's going on with the story. Also, for those of you that don't know, the Silmarillion is also set in Middle-earth, but where the events of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings happen in the third age of that universe and that world, and the Silmarillion is the creation thereof, and it's the first age, and we have more elves, and we see dwarves come into being, and all that type of thing. It's the origin story. So I would be curious to see how Peter Jackson would handle that. Personally, I think the Silmarillion would be better suited to be a mini-series game, or a series Game of Thrones style, just to make sure all that detail can be incorporated properly, instead of we can't acknowledge it because it's a movie, but if you're a fan, you'll get it. Because there's too much going on to gloss over it. If you gloss over it and have it there, you can miss major story elements, which was not as much the case with Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit as it is with the Silmarillion. Even though all the stories are very intricate, there are some things, like there's an entire character in Lord of the Rings that was just kind of lifted out, and then we got some of his lines very few in the theatrical, but definitely some of his lines were given to Treebeard in the extended edition. He's a character named Tom Bombadil because he just didn't move along the story. Everyone in the Silmarillion moves the story along. Even if you see them first and they seem to do nothing, you find out later that they have, in fact, moved on the story more than the character you're currently with because it was a setup. There's a lot of setup and reward going on in Silmarillion that is all very crucial to the story. From what I've read at this point, there are also in the Silmarillion, any published paperback or edition of the Silmarillion, you'll find the Ainu Lindale, which is a story more to do with the events of the Third Age of Middle Earth. And that one is, I forget, but I want to say that's more to do with the swords and the oh my gosh, the Dunedain and Aragorn's race of men. And things like that. Feel free to correct me in the comments because I'm going off the cuff here and what I remember. But that's my opinion. Yes, Peter Jackson or somebody, please do the Silmarillion. However, maybe not movies. Maybe something a little more longer, spread out in longer form because it's so wildly intricate. That's my sound off on that. I'll link to the Nerdist article that I found that on, and you can draw your own conclusions, and why not? I'll also link to the Silmarillion. Maybe you want to know something about it, and you can get an ebook, or I'll do it on Amazon. By the way, if you order things from smile.amazon.com instead of www.amazon.com, then they donate a portion of your purchase to the charity of your choice. They have about 7 that you can choose from. You can also type in your own charity. So I'm going to link to a smile.amazon.com link to any editions or publications of the Silmarillion. Have a great day, guys. That's me. Out.